Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Jinn here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make loops and melodies for NAV, especially something that would sound like his newest project, Emergency Tsunami. Before we get into it, I just want to say, if you guys enjoy these videos, be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'll put them up on the screen right now, and I'll also put them in the description. I'm just going to play you guys the loop real quick, and then we'll get into how I actually made it, so yeah. Alright, so the first thing I did was this piano right here. This loop is in F minor, and so first thing I did was just play around with the F minor chord, which is this right here. So it's F, G sharp, and C. But the G sharp and the C, I took them up a couple octaves, and I just left the F, this lowest F note here. So this is right here, this is the fifth of the chord. But as you can see, I actually didn't end up using the G sharp. So what I'm doing here is called basically using the second. And so basically this is some music theory talk. I've been reading up on a lot of like music theory lately. Your editor Jinn here. I just want to say I'm not I'm not a music theory expert, so before you music theory nerds come at my neck, if you can correct me, please do. I'm actually happy to be corrected. So yeah, continue. So I apologize if this is confusing, but basically the G right here is the second, is the 2 of the scale, right? And so if you pair it up with the F, which is the root, it's gonna be like kind of dissonant and like kind of creepy sounding. So that's why I ended up using it. But as you can see, like it goes G, G sharp, which is the right note of that chord, back to G, and then back to the root. This is called like tension and release. So you're creating tension on purpose to try and hook the listener in, and then you're releasing that tension by going back to the root and also the fifth of the chord, which is the C. I apologize if this is confusing, but with these scale notes in the back, it's actually a lot easier to actually understand. So picture it like this, just with the bass notes up an octave. So as you can see right here, these are the right notes for the chord, and then if this was shifted up or shifted earlier, that would be right there, the F minor chord. But since I'm like trying to play a pattern with it instead of just playing the chord, that's what I ended up with. So this is what the piano sounds like on its own. So moving on from just the basic idea of the whole progression, right here, as you probably saw that I kept the exact same top notes and just lowered the bass note. I found that doing that actually helps make the loop a lot darker, and also it simplifies the bass line, which is very important when you're sending out loops to other producers for them to use, because a lot of the time it's very hard for people to find the bass notes. Trust me, it's even hard for me when my friends send me loops, so it's nothing to be ashamed of. It just happens all the time. And so when you're simplifying the bass notes, it just makes it a lot easier for the other producers to actually make beats on. So here I also added basically the same idea as as the start, but different notes. This kind of made it harmonize, like these kind of harmonize nicely together, which like means that they complement each other. So this is what they sound like. So they just sound nice together, basically. I don't know the actual term for it, but yeah. And also these notes right here at the top, These are serving as space fillers basically. So after this passage right here, you get the top notes, which kind of fills up the space and doesn't make it seem very boring and repetitive, because it's like these top notes are playing their own melody as well. These notes are only being used for like the transition back to the start. So they start high and then they go down low, with lower than the note that the melody starts off with, and then it like that makes it transition a lot nicer. Also, when you do stuff like these, it's a very good idea to play with the velocities, because if you can hear, I'm gonna play it, if you can hear how it like starts off soft and then gradually gets hard, louder, and then back to the start, which is even louder than that. So this is what that sounds like. So yeah. Also, I forgot to mention, this is from Contact Alicia's Keys, the Alicia's Keys library. So yeah. Alright, so moving on from the piano, this is from Mallet Flux, the marimba from Mallet Flux. This is basically almost the exact same pattern as the piano, except I added a few notes here and there. So this is what that sounds like. This pattern is pretty much the exact same 4 bars, only changed the bass notes, and the only thing I added was these notes right here to serve as like additional melody lines to be played in the background. These weren't meant to be like this instrument, it wasn't meant to be the main instrument of the loop. It just so happened that that's how it sounded in the end, and it sounded good. So the piano and the marimba together, this is what they sound like. And so moving on from that, the next thing I added was this gypsy violin from Balkan Ethnic Orchestra, also from Contact. This is basically playing almost the exact same top melody as the piano and the marimba, except it's doing it in different ways. So yeah, this is what it sounds like. So this bank, not this whole bank, this preset from Balkan Ethnic Orchestra is kind of a cheat code, because like as you heard, there's like swells and stuff like that in this longer F note right here, and that's all just done by the plugin. It's not by me, so that's why I say it's kind of a cheat code. But this is what the violin, the marimba, and the piano sound like. The next thing I added was this like pad-like sound from Olafur. I'm finally gonna try and pronounce this name. Olafur Arnold, something like that. It's called the Whale Song preset. It's right here from this bank. This is copying the exact same pattern as the marimba, except it's like 1 or 2 octaves higher, and so this is what it sounds like. So it's not very interesting on its own, and the only reason I picked this sound is because I thought the loop needed more ambience to it, and so this is what it sounds like with the piano and the marimba. Next up, I went into that same contact bank and picked this preset called Sonar Roads. I've used it a lot, showed it in a couple tutorials. It's the, if you go into synth embellishments in this bank, it's this one right here, and this is what it sounds like. So similarly to the other sound that I just showed you, pretty much only used it for ambience purposes. So last but not least, I used this bass sound from Hive. It's called the ETE Bytefly. I EQ'd pretty much all of the highs out because I was looking for like a Reese bass sound, but I didn't have any. So I went here, just EQ'd a ton of the highs out. And yeah, this is what it sounds like with the rest of the loop. So next up, onto the mixing. The first thing I worked on was this piano, and this is what it sounded like without anything on it. Pretty dry and boring, but then I added some detune, just a tiny bit, not too much, J37 tape machine, imager from Waves, and then this is what does pretty much all of the heavy lifting. I'll show you exactly what I did, but let me just play it with everything on it then. So I went into Effect Rack, I clicked on the preset bank thing, went into modulation, and then phase, reversal, groove, and then you sync it to the MIDI, and then you drag the dry knob, the mix knob, sorry, like to where you like it. I liked it pretty low, like around 6%, because if I play it with like a big like mix percentage, this is what it ends up sounding like, which can be cool for certain genres and certain styles, but not for this one. And yeah, that was it for the piano. I also EQ'd highs and lows. Next up was the marimba. I added so here's one thing that I like to do. I like to copy the exact same detune preset that I used on the first one, copy them to everything that I want to add detuning on. I found that if you use different amounts of detuning on different instruments, it can sound kind of weird and like out of key sometimes. So that's why I like to add the same detuning preset on everything. The way you do that, if you don't know, you don't have to memorize every single like value. If you're on FL Studio, you just click the button right here, go to save preset as, click and drag, and then you have the exact same preset. So yeah, I started off with the detune, also the same tape plugin, and then imager, and then EQ. I did like this kind of weird bandpass EQ thing, which looks like this, and without it, this is what the marimba would sound like. There's like a bunch of high frequencies that I didn't really like, but I didn't want to take them all out. So I did this kind of weird shape, and this is what it sounded like. It like smoothens, it like makes it smooth and rounds out all of the lows and the highs together. Next up was the what's it called? Yeah, the violin. So I went into Guitar Stomp, which is waves. I added this lady pedal and the vibrolo pedal. So basically this is like a delay slash modulation thing. I just played around with the knobs to taste, like to wherever I thought they sounded good. Same with this one. This I kind of made it sound like a sidechain. So if you guys are familiar with the plugin Kickstart, or if you're familiar with Gross Beat, let me just pull it up right here. So sidechaining basically. The sidechaining basically is when the volume goes up and then goes down, synced to like the beat, and so that's what I was kind of going for with that pedal. Then I added the same detune preset, and then that's it. Next up, for the Sonar Rhodes thing, almost just the same detune tape and imager. Same for the whale song thing, except the EQ took out pretty much all of the lows and a bunch of, all of the highs as well, because I like to have it more focused. And for the bass, I already showed you, just took out pretty much all of the highs because I wanted like a Reese bass sound. Yeah, that's about it for this loop. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter and everything. All the links will be down below in the description. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. I'll see you guys later. Peace.